Jesus Christ. Gotta test this bad boy out. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Gotta test this bad boy out. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Yeah, you know what I mean, Jelly Bean. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean. Already reached level 20. Before we do that, we need to do WC. Need to buy arrows too.
Well, be careful. What brings you here? Farewell.
Wait, what's going on? Immolation trap and what else?
Friend.
Mongoose bite and raptor strike.
Be careful.
Holy fucking shit.
When does this bitch learn Screech?
Screech, pet level 8, cost 10 points. Blast. Greater Flesh Ripper, a Carrion Bird, Westfall. Screech 2. Salt Flats Vulture, 1,000 Needles. Do I don't have to learn that first, do I? So I'm not going to basically get it until 30, halfway. 32 to 34. So it's almost better to get a fucking cat. Or am I tripping? All right, so note to self, it's actually not worth getting this dude as a Tauren. That's okay. We can always go back and get another pet. We'll probably end up learning get a carrion bird. There's a bat, an Oldman dungeon, Dead Ripper and Desolus, Fellwood, Blackrock Depths. So Fellwood would be the owl, Iron Beak. Screech 4, Bat in Eastern Plaguelands, or Winter Spring Screech or Owl in Winter Spring. So the earliest will be 1,000 Needles, because we are not going to Westfall.
What brings you here?
Serpent Bloom. Ogrimmar. Shit, we might hurt there.
listening.
This had better be good.
What would you ask of death?
We need to go to the auction house. I need to smelt these bars.
Hail. Ancestors watch over you.
I bet you Jim Master was at work. Press.
993-287. Look at this bitch's tits.
I
Just
fucking
out.
knew it, man.
40 hours. Yeah, no problem. 440 hours to get through One Piece. That's too many. 18 days non-stop. Hi, Girl Fart. Girl Fart. Fair enough. Turd Ferguson, you want me to call you? I don't call people. What? Okay, how far behind in chat am I? You guys just kept going. Shit. Okay. Okay. Guys, I don't talk in private. I don't like DM or anything like that on my social media. If you guys are looking to get into my DMs, you have to go to my fan sites. That's the only way you can do it. I'm sorry. One Piece isn't grimdark, Frankie says, so it's much more fun. Hey, I get it, I get it. That's cool. That's cool. Cyphus Kane's not grimdark. It's pretty sweet. Miamo, you're more of a book reader. Hey, I like books. Absolutely. That's why I've got the Eisenhorn there. Metro, how's it going? Alright, let's skip some more. Rallic says, you like how the pages and corners are crisp? I take good care of my books. That one's brand new, Rallic. I can't take credit for that, but I am. How many of you guys are like insane with how you read books? So this is the one I am reading. and like I hate folding pages. I hate cracking the spine. I'm just like so cautious and careful with how I read.
What can I help you with? Go forth. What do you need? Go forth to victory.
Why is my FPS so low? That's fucking weird. Huh. Oh, whoa, bro. Where the fuck? Bro, I'm actually gonna die. Don't die, Bat. No, they killed it, you son of a bitches. I'm so sorry. I should fish here.
I'm actually gonna low key fish here. Fuck, I put my fishing pole up, dude. Oh. There's so many pools.
I thank you. What brings you here?
Bro. What the fuck, bro? There's fucking Giga Chads everywhere. Ooh.
Greetings, traveler.
Greetings, traveler. Be careful.
Kingdoms lies a vast, unexplored world. A world of honor. Of honor.
The Wrath was saved.
Ancient alliances are reforged.
Your boy Cargo's over here. I hope everybody's doing good. We are 4 days away. That is just incredible, man. That is just less than one hand, guys. 4 days, man. So today we have a treat for you. We did this with the Rogue the other day. Let me know if there's any problems with the stream too. Just the chat is like my guidance with this stuff. We did this with the Rogues yesterday. We did the SI7 Academy. That was our little flavorful little RP way of doing the little workshop. Today we're going to be doing a hunter sort of live interactive guide, talking with you guys in the chat, being receptive of questions you have best we can. You know, it's gonna be hard to keep up with all the chat, but we're just gonna be talking about hunters, guys, because some people, believe it or not, at this stage are still trying to figure out what class they're gonna play. You know, what's the love, what's the hate about different classes. So what are we gonna do about that situation? We're gonna bring in some big, thick brain hunters here, some people who are passionate about the class, enthusiasts, my fellow brothers. As you might notice on the stream, I have replaced my warlock icon with my hunter icon, you know, as a token of good, just to pay my dues to the hunter class. I'm a hunter at heart, always and forever. So today I am joined by 3 good friends of the channel, people I've collaborated in the past with, and I'm really happy they're here, okay? So I'm gonna do a round of intros with these guys. First up, we have Rizaya. We have Rizaya, Alondris, and Thickman. All right, but let me start with Rizaya. Then I'm gonna pass it off to them. Before I pass it off to them, I just wanna shill Rizaya real quick. Rizaya, top 5 content creators that are alive to me. I'm on the YouTube side. One of the initial OG dudes who inspired me to make content way back in the day, alongside all the initial private server dudes. Rizaya is someone I've looked up to for many, many years. Amazing personality, dude. S-tier personality. Absolute OG in the space. /bow, /salute. I can't talk about this dude highly enough. Big inspiration. So Rizaya is here, man. How are you today, man, Rizaya?
Hey, I'm feeling great, and I have to thank you sincerely. This is so kind and so generous of you to give me the opportunity to be here, to speak to hunters, and to have fun doing it. So thank you, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart.
Absolutely. You guys probably recognize some of the voice, some of the OG guys who played back in the day. All the private servers probably remember that voice, man, because he was the first dude making these hunter guides out there. He has some of the best videos, and he's coming back to make more content now. And it was such a great thing that I saw you make that video the other day. I was so happy to see that, man. So, you know, welcome back to the content game. You know, yeah, thanks for being here, man. All right, we're gonna move it on to Alondris right now. Alondris, how are you today, my man?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for the opportunity to join the stream.
Absolutely. Alondris, he helped me with the field manual, so did Rizaya. I didn't meet Thickmet at that time, but he was instrumental towards making the Hunter field manual, which is probably the resource that I'm proudest of making. Out of everything I've done on YouTube, I put the most time into that one, and I think it came out pretty good, man. And Alondris was instrumental in combing through those slides, because I don't really have a lot of attention to detail, and this dude really does. Seasoned Hunter player. I love that you like Troll Hunter too, even though you wanted to put a night elf for your avatar, but thank you again for being here, man. We're gonna move on to Thick Meta 2. I met him a couple weeks ago. Hunter class leader in Invictus. A hell of a guy. Big, robust personality, thick personality, some might say. New to the content creation scene, but has been in the private server community for a hot minute. Been speed leveling, been playing at a high level, PvPing, running pre-mades. All this, dude, it's really good. And you're gonna start streaming too. So how are you today, man? How's it going?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. And let me say, it's just a pleasure to be here with some of my inspirations like Cargos, Rizaya the Ravager. I even peeped the field manual, man, and when I saw Alondris was on the field manual, I was like, oh my god, this guy, I mean, I'm here with legends, and it's just such an opportunity to be.
Oh my god, are you guys done sucking each other off or what?
You know, we're gonna get this week 1 rag, right?
Dude, we're about to get that money. Absolutely, guys. 4 days left. We're going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about state of the class. The hunter community is kind of a little divided right now, and we just need big, you know, positive forces like Rizaya. Well, Alondris is. Would you consider yourself a doomer or a bloomer, Alondris? I don't know.
Definitely a doomer.
Definitely a doomer. Okay, so we get some balance here. Some balance to the force. So we'll get into that in a little bit, like the story, the narrative of the hunter, and then why some of you might be wondering, why does the hunter Discord icon a broken bow with the snapped string? We'll be talking about stuff like that in today's show. It's gonna be just a knowledge dump, guys. You know, just expect some hiccups along the way, but we're just gonna be talking about the class that we love most. Is it the class you guys love most? I don't even know words in your mouth.
Oh,
hell yeah!
It's the class I love the most. I wouldn't play any other class first.
exactly.
Hell yeah, love to see that Hunter Pride, man. And shout out to the Hunter Discord as well before we get started. The Hunter Discord for months and months answering all my dumb pea-brain questions and stuff in a way that a goldfish can understand. Shout out to Watcher6 in there, and a lot of the dudes in there have been holding it down, helping set this up, even setting this up right now. So if you haven't joined the Hunter Discord, join the Hunter Discord. I'm going to put a link in the chat momentarily. So here we go, guys. Hope you're having a great day. One day closer. We've got some nice ASMR, rainy Thelsamar Lakmodan in the background right now. That little pitter patter, dude, getting everybody in a nice calm state. All right, so we're gonna get started right now. First slide up is why should someone play a hunter in classic and why shouldn't they? Light and polite. I'm just gonna open it up to the floor. Anybody who can start it off, just chime in.
If you got a big brain and you got a big soul, and you got a big heart, you got to play a hunter. It's as simple as that.
Well, you could play a hunter casually or seriously, and really there's room for both. You can be the casual who levels up, just auto-shot AFK with your pet tanking, or you could be the hunter who's pulling crazy DPS with every buff in the book and going ham in Max Ramus and all that stuff. But to do that, you got to be dedicated. So if you're willing to either be a casual or dedicate your whole heart and soul to it, roll hunter.
For sure.
Well said, beautifully said, inspirational. Man, what about you, Alondris? Any thoughts why you should play hunter, or are you just all Doom all the way, dude? No hunter.
No. I'm with Doom, but I'm a good word to describe the hunter playstyle is individuality. Compare it to a warrior, right? A warrior, he doesn't get as easily gold as a hunter. You need a healer to babysit the mages. You don't want to get kited to infinity and so on. A hunter it's an RPG on its own. You can do, you have the ability to farm gold reliably, and alongside the mage is the best farming method, which is the armor. You have the ability to, you are the most self-reliant class in the game. You can solo elites, you can solo mobs, you can pull 2, 3 or even 4 mobs if you're lucky and you're good while leveling, while other classes such as warriors even struggle with 1 mob. You fish, you cook, you cook what you fish. You are very self-reliant. The only reason to really visit the auction house is to either buy gear or to sell what you saw, you know?
Absolutely. No, well said. Just to piggyback off that, sorry, my dogs are going crazy. Let me just go shut them up. It's probably the mailman outside. Keep talking for 1 second. Yeah, bestial rat, dude. 1 second.
What? Man, he doesn't follow any guides. He's gonna go phase 1, phase 6, bestial wrath, doesn't give a shit.
You know, BM is pretty nifty in PvP.
Ooh.
Yo, just to piggyback off what you were saying, Alondris, so self-reliance, 100%, dude. Love the self-reliance of a hunter. Just look how cool this guy looks. You see what you see on the slide right there, ladies and gentlemen? That guy on the slide right there? That's how you start as an orc hunter when you log into the Valley of Trials. You're sitting right there. It's just a man in a little cloth shirt and an axe, dude. And you just got a little shitty bow, and it's you against the world, and man, I love the ethos of it. I love the self-reliance of a hunter. So I value self-reliance really high. I know it's a game we all got to play together, and part of Bindle is the community and depending on one another to be successful. But I really value that, even in real life, to a certain extent, of being self-reliant and being able to just, take care of business by yourself. PvP. If you like PvP, play Hunter, man. A lot of
All right.
people low key or high key, they PvE to PvP, right? So people always have the, you know, they toss around this little nugget to say hunters fall off in PvE. But if you do some soul searching and you go, you know, I'm actually kind of just doing PvE to get the gear so I can go, you know, I can go clap kids in the Vale or go into run war songs. If you're a PvPer at heart, you will enjoy Hunter, man. Sorry.
Oh yeah, it has a very high skill cap for PvP.
Yep.
To be honest, Hunter don't really fall, just other classes scale better.
Yeah, I think a lot of the misconception is that hunters don't fall off, and they're still necessary for quite a few fights, even late into Naxxramas. Are you necessary for every fight? No. Where there'll be guilds that bench hunters? Maybe, but more than likely not, because Phase 6, you need them in Saf, you need them in Kal'Thuzad. I mean, you don't need them in Patchwork, but who do you need in Patchwork? You need Patchwork for 40 mages, who do you have to try?
Yep. Okay, so we talked about why, some of the reasons. We're going to keep talking about why we should play Hunter as we go along and stuff. But we can also start dooming, get a little bit doom in there to balance it out. Why shouldn't someone play Hunter? Any ideas? Why shouldn't anyone play Hunter? And this goes to the chat too. All these questions apply to chat. If you say something really interesting in chat, we'll read it out. Why shouldn't someone play Hunter?
Why should you play Hunter when you can play Warrior, right?
Oh,
in the range as a Tauren, I mean, what's the point?
No, heck off, man. No, man,
Hunter or Warrior?
Hunters, they do have a lot to think about, you know, more than people might think. You know, everyone makes a meme out of the class, you know, oh, you know, just AFK, auto shot and stuff, but no, you know, you gotta remember how much ammo you're bringing, you gotta bring some water, you gotta bring food for your pet, you gotta keep your ranged weapon up to date. You gotta know what ranged weapon will benefit your talent tree, your set of abilities the best, and that can change depending on how you spec on the way up and what you do. So there's a lot to consider when you're playing a hunter. So I bet micromanagement. That's a good point.
Yeah, another reason why you shouldn't want to play Hunter is it's a lot of, you have to be very like you have to be you have to be active with your rotation and stuff. Like you have to think about stuff. You can't. It's not just brain dead, man. Like honestly, there's a lot of moving pieces you have to manage. Another misconception with hunters is you can't utilize your pets during encounters when raid, and then your pet is just a meme while raiding. If you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, you're playing it at a top level. There's a lot of moving pieces, and sometimes you can go look at that mage over in the corner there, popping demonic runes and frostbolts, and you're like, dang, that guy over there is living the good life.
Yeah, I mean, well, it is kind of a meme, the whole pets and raiding thing, but you can have your pets survive on a lot of fights, and they do bring some really essential DPS to the table that you kind of want. But that again brings up another point. You got to do the melee mechanics with your pet and whatever ranged mechanics you've got to deal with at the same time if you want to really min-max. So if you want to hit the pinnacle of huntering, you're gonna have to really develop your craft. Otherwise, you are going to be a meme, and you're just gonna have to deal with that, to settle with that.
Yeah, there are things that you need to utilize in both PvE and PvP to make you a good hunter. Hunters are not brought to PvE for their damage alone. They're brought for the utility that they bring. They're brought for kiting potential. Everyone knows that Hunter is by far the worst scaling DPS class in the game. It's not a secret, but it's more than just the DPS. And for PvP, that's one of the story get out of here.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. I can't stress that. Sorry, go
Another
ahead.
thing to keep in mind, which I don't think many people will realize, is you're gonna have about half the inventory space that other classes will have. One's bag is gonna be arrows, another is gonna be food for a pet. You're gonna have buffs, maybe some resistance gear, and you'll only have like 1 or 2 bags that you're actually gonna be able to utilize.
So limited inventory space, having to bring ammo, right? This stuff is kind of a pain sometimes, right?
I mean, as you said, you have to be proactive. You have to feed your pet, keep its. You have to level its loyalty up if it's not already leveled. You have to keep it happy. You know, all these things. You have to micromanage your pet, so 1, it doesn't die. 2, it can actually do damage. Because mostly you're gonna keep it on passive anyway, so you're gonna have to tell him to attack. You know, stuff like that.
To be fair, there are other classes who have more trouble with inventory space, like warlocks have to bring around soul shards, and warriors may have multiple sets of gear that they need to carry
So
around.
true.
The hunters do have it easy in a sense because, you know, they need to deal with having that quiver from the start. You know, you get used to it, you get accustomed to it, but you know, it is a consideration. You won't have quite as much inventory space as well, I guess every class has some sort of trouble here or there, but
Yeah, that's just vanilla, right? Every class kind of has some sort of reagent or something they have to rock around in their bags. I think I'm more of a bloomer on that front. If you got the doomers or the bloomers, but I think other things too. It's super flavorful. Playing a hunter is just juicy. It's succulent, flavorful
It is
play
an
style
RPG.
and gameplay, dude. You have ammunition. You literally have to feed your pet like on some Tamagotchi shit. Like you have to go catch them all like on some Pokemon shit. Like it's this other little aspect again. It's so flavorful. It's just bursting from the seams with rich, juicy flavor, and you love to see that. Also, another reason why you should play Hunter is you feel like a playmaker when you're raiding or in your dungeons. You feel like you can make big plays with distracting shot, kiting people around. Like you kind of feel like a finesse lord. You know what I mean? Like you.
Oh yeah.
You're throwing on aspects real quick. You know, you're melee weaving. You're coming in. You feign, and you res people with jumper cables, and you feel like a hero. You know, like there's cool stuff that you can do, and I think. If hunters are not as played moving into a classic environment, some people who like that underdog mentality could come in there and rally around it, man, and like, you know, just
Get more gear if there are less hunters.
Yeah, I love it, man. Also, that's a great point. We actually have we don't really share gear with too many other classes. There are a few pieces that we might share, like certain trinkets the melee will definitely want, but our main our main gear is actually tier sets, because it's all based around the set bonuses in tier 1 and 2, and then tier 2.5 is kind of a side grade, tier 3 is more better because of stats, but that's another story. We'll get onto that later on.
very good point, Rosiah. And this ties into this overall swag of being a hunter. You actually wear your tier sets and you look like a bamf, right? You look,
Swag, dude.
It's the biggest perk.
tier 1, full tier 1. To me, the coolest thing in WoW is being an orc hunter with your pet by your side, maybe like a black wolf or something cool like that, and then you're on a black raptor and you have giant stalker on. You're running through the barrens right now. And you got your, you know, your double bone slicing hatchets with agi on them, dude. And you just, and it looks so cool to me. I don't know. And so you actually wear your tier sets, as you said. You actually wear tier sets. Very cool.
One last thing to really touch on is that even though the skill cap is up there, and there's a lot of doom posting, a lot of like negative thoughts about the whole hunter class, all the good hunters I knew are still playing hunters. Like good hunters, you'll still be good. And even if you're just coming into hunter, there's tons of resources out there going into classic, like maybe new content creators and existing content creators that are going to be able to really get you
I
up to
have
par and
just
get
the
you up to
thing
speed.
for you.
Yep. Talk also just nuggets, throwing it out here. If you like speed leveling, if you like leveling fast, if you like getting ahead of the curve, but you don't necessarily like grouping up and depending on 4 other people to go do dungeon cleaves and spam cleaves, you can just go play as a hunter, aggressively quest, and just pump, man. And you watch people who just have these amazing times, like Ampi and stuff, who are just melee weaving the whole time, just playing some trance music in the background, just going into their own ethereal state and just going, man. So, you know, you're super independent and fast leveler, just questing by yourself, which is a nice little perk of it too. And then once you get to 60, you know, you have lots of gold farming methods you can do by yourself. Okay, let me think. Let me think of a negative now. Why shouldn't you play Hunter? Shouldn't you play Hunter? We'll talk about some of the stuff like the shared DRs a little bit. a little bit later.
That's a little more important for PvP, I think. We'll definitely cover all of that in PvP because I know that's where most people are kind of freaking out.
If you want to top the meters, and for some reason, if that's your prerogative, you know, like you really enjoy that and just parsing really, really high, like overall, you know, probably not play Hunter, man. We're not dealing with Lupos in this environment stuff. All the pets have like two waves or 3 waves of normalization on them. But with that said, like, you can still be the best at your class. You know, you're gonna bring hunters to the raid. So even if you're not top raid DPS overall, you could be better than the other hunters, right? And that's still like a very good.
To be honest, if you play good, you can be middle of the pack or even top 10 if you play good. Like, you actually feel satisfaction from playing good. You're not spamming one ability.
Yeah, exactly.
You get satisfaction. You feel like an achievement to have achieved top 10 DPS in the raid.
Yeah, man, you got actual DPS combos and cycles to consider. Aimed auto multi, you gotta time all this stuff. Because, well, are we going into damage rotations right now, or?
Yeah, we can get into that later, but if you're talking about it from this kind of, broad stroke perspective, it makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, man, see, our auto shots kind of work in really unique ways, because while the mage or the warlock has to stand there, you know, hurling shadow bolts or frost bolts or whatever, one after another, hunters, they need to stop to fire their auto shot, but it has a cooldown that's independent of its cast time. So you can move between auto shots, and you can stay on the move. It makes us really mobile, ranged attackers, very versatile, very interesting, very unique.
Absolutely. Another thing about hunters is I like the idea of being like the point man when it comes to kiting stuff. It's a cool role. It feels good when you're in a UBRS and they want you to kite the last boss away, or if you're on Major Domo, you have to kite the ads away and you have to go make that big play for your raid. It's kind of flashy in that sense too, man. I also love the idea that you can't really run away from a hunter, man. A good hunter, it's so hard to run away from, you know. And there's possibly the strongest open world PvP class according to some people, which I'm partial to agree with. Viper Sting, huge reason to play the class. Viper Sting, sorry.
That's what you're gonna do in BGs anyway, just spam Viper Sting.
Yeah. Mike505 subscribe to Twitch Prime. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Okay, anything else? Can we think before we move on from this slide? Should and shouldn't. Just think of all. Oh, one thing. Thought of something. When you're raid spec, you're still kind of a monster in PvP. You know what I mean? Some classes, when they have to go full raid spec, they really sacrifice their PvP potential when they're out in the open world. Hunter, you're pretty much good to go, dude. Like, you're fine. Like, I don't know, you still feel very capable out in the world, even when you're in raid spec.
Oh yeah, I thought of something, but I kind of forgot.
I mean, a big part of playing a hunter, especially in the case of PvE, is that your job is to provide. I mean, yeah, you're a DPS. Your job is to provide DPS. But really, there are some fights that are impossible without you. And I'm not just talking about Trank Shot. They're the only class that can effectively kite because of that on-demand instant movement speed buff. And yeah, like akin to what you said, like it's super flashy. You feel important when you're doing something like that for your raid. And there's mechanics like that phase 1 through 6.
I remember what I was just thinking about. So the other thing that I wanted to say was if you really want an alt that can farm gold effectively and it's just plain fun, you can level up quick, Hunter is a great alt. You can definitely roll Hunter as an alt. But back to what we were just saying, in regard to a certain fight, like just take Uru for instance in AQ40. You as a hunter, when he goes underground, you can pack the tanks away from the melee range, so that they can escape the popcorn of death on the ground, and that sort of thing is what we do. We're support DPS, like warlocks. You know, they summon people, they bring hellstones, but they also bring the DPS in their own way, and hunters do that too. You know, we have our own ways of supporting the raid and bringing DPS.
Your guides podcast helped me in more ways than I can describe.
Thanks for that, Rosiah. Yeah, Drippy Chunk donated 15 bucks.
Full classic journey. Much love, Cargo.
Thank you so much, Drippy, dude. I appreciate the very generous donation for the 15. That's very kind of you, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for that. That's a good point, Rosiah. Another thing I'm thinking about right now when it comes to hunters is, when it comes to you can the farming methods are really good. So Dire Maul is another thing. So even if you're not gonna roll a main hunter, like you can do a hunter alt. It might be the best. You think it's the best alt to have for gold farming? That's one thing to keep in mind.
It's very effective at farming gold. Mages are another great alternative choice, but hunters are just plain easy to level up, and they're also a lot of fun. So
Potentially they can make the most amount of gold per hour, yeah. With that,
possibly. But those crazy mages have their own really super good techniques. So that's something to consider.
Roctalar, good reason to play hunter. Awesome
Oh, yeah.
item. Roctalar right there. That's gonna move the needle for a lot of people that want to play hunters. Being able to rock really cool melee weapons, cool one-handers. You know what I mean? Like being able to every weapon is a hunter weapon. That's a good point, right? You know, that's the hunter meme, but kind of true.
It is true.
Yep, every weapon is a hunter weapon. If you want to feel like a trickster, a slippery trickster with tricks up your sleeve, range, you do ranged physical damage, dude. That's very powerful. That can connect with mobs that are way higher level than you. You can do some crazy stuff when you have ranged physical damage. So
Yeah, no glancing blows, so we're pretty much able to kill stuff that's much higher level than.
Yep, very true. Okay, well, we talked about reasons why you should and shouldn't play. We can move on to the next slide. All right, this is the fun one. This is the light and polite one. This is we're doing some soul searching right here, guys. We're talking about class fantasy. Look at my boy Rexar right there. Probably one of my favorite guys in all of Warcraft. He's such a badass, like with his Misha bear right there, and he has Huffer and Leok, and he's walking around Desolus. He doesn't look that cool in vanilla, but if you see him in TBC,
Time is money, friend.
Rexar, awesome guy. Really cool. What about class fantasy to hunter? That speaks to you guys? Is there anything in particular?
Yeah, a lot of fantasy, man. Yeah, just imagine going around places looking for your favorite pet. And this is different for some people. Some people don't like to tame pets just based off how effective they are in PvP. Some people want to go for a really unique looking pet. Shout out to Umar the Pride Lord. Only Black Lion. Dude, I'm taming him second I get level 23.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man, you're
the white lion Ikiaki from Barons. That's what I'm taming.
King Bangladesh. Who tamed King Bangladesh back in the day? Real vanilla tamed King Bangladesh, dude.
I did. Yeah, I did. I still have him.
You really? Oh, dude, King Bangladesh.
Yeah, I still have him.
What were you gonna say? My bad, dude.
Well, I was just gonna say that playing a hunter means you tame the wild. You embody the wild. You got your pets, but you also you got your set of skills that feels really natural. You know, you got your bow and arrow, you got poisons. You don't really have any magical stuff going up your sleeve, but you feel like a ranger who befriends the wild and uses it against your enemies. It's pretty cool. It's like druids except not pansies.
Yeah. Dude, there we go. I feel that, man. You're kind of environmentalist, but not in like a hippie way. I kind of like druids are kind of like hippies to me. I'm trying to piggyback off what you're saying. I think you're speaking the truth right here. Like I like the environment and knowing what to do out in the environment, even IRL, like having survival skills. But I'm kind of IRL like low key, but you know I like being like a trapper. I've done some trapping. You know what I mean? Just being able to be out in the environment and take care of yourself but not be like hippie though about it. And I also like pets and animals, so I have a big dog person. I have two big German Shepherds as my dogs. Always gonna be a dog person, and I'm not gonna lie, that's part of it. You know, when you have a pet in the game and you kind of have this beast synergy between your pet and you, like that's kind of at least when it comes to the male mind, I'd say a lot of us. You just imagine yourself out in the woods, just with you and your dog, you know, and just a little hatchet, and you're out there and you have to go build like a cabin and go rebuild civilization, all that. It speaks to that hunter class fantasy. It does it for me. It checks all the boxes, man.
Yeah, man, you go out there with nothing and you come back a badass. All right, that's how.
With everyone's stolen weapons.
With everyone's stolen weapons.
Yeah.
DFT is a hunter item.
Yep, of course. Yeah, I mean, just think of that, dude. He looks so cool right there, man. It's just
Wait, didn't I stable? Hold on a second.
Probably be.
Was I smart and I stabled him, or I banned him?
Okay, if WoW was real life.
Oh, I think I banned him, right?
In real life, I don't know if people would want to be melee classes too. Like it would be.
Oh, is there a stable guy here?
Up in melee range with like a hatchet or whatever. I think if this was you immerse yourself and you kind of, you know, if this was the real world, I think I prefer to shoot people with a bow and just be like behind a rock, just like shooting someone with a bow. And you know, if they close the melee gap, you know, you'd wing clip them and try and, you know, you'd have to poke them if you had to, but you know, just to be able to shoot at them from range, that does it for me. I don't think I'd be a caster. So.
Yeah, can't deny that the warriors look pretty cool with their melee weapons, but you know what? We have the second best thing.
What's that?
If you want, you can just steal their weapons.
You know, the Ravager, the Bladestorm. Bladestorm weaving between multi-shot weaving.
Oh, you're talking about Ravager. That's dude, Resiah, the Ravager. You guys don't know his last name. Are you still rolling with that? I hope so. Resiah the Ravager. It's so
You
cool.
bet, man. It's actually unironically good.
I know, man. Well, I'm actually really curious what your thoughts are coming into Classic, what you're going to think about Ravager. We'll talk about it a little bit. Real quick, Panicore9035, just subscribe. Thank you very much for subscribing, my man. I appreciate the support. Welcome to the channel. So if you guys know the Ravager, Resiah is like, that was the whole reason I got really into his brand, too. He was called Resiah the Ravager. He utilized that SM weapon. Maybe actually you could tell a story with it, man. I'm just putting words in your mouth. How about with the Ravager? You just stumble upon it one day?
Yeah, I kind of ran Scarlet Monastery Armory with like a druid tank, priest healer, no one who could actually use an axe. So I was the only one who was able to use an axe, and of course this was at the time on the private server Chronos, which has really cruddy scripting. So
K1?
as it turns out,
Was it the original?
I think it was K2. It was the one between Nostalrius and Elysium. So I picked up this axe, and it turns out that you can actually use other abilities during the Bladestorm on Chronos because the scripting was that bad. Like, you could Dragon Gun, you could Volley, you could Multi-Shot, you could Raptor Strike, you could pop a Sapper Charge, Goblin Dragon Gun, anything you wanted. You just couldn't move. So I started using this crazy axe, kind of weaving melee, but also hoping I'd get a Bladestorm proc, get some major AoE out there. And as it turns out, in theory, it actually fits in this sort of sense. Because you see, Hunter AoE is kind of limited. Sure, we've got T2.5, which gives a little bit of spell power that actually buffs your Volley and Explosive Trap. But Volley has a 1-minute cooldown. Explosive Trap can only be used every 30 seconds in combat, assuming your feigned death is not resisted. Engineering Bombs, 1-minute cooldown. Multi-Shot, only 3 targets. So you can't really turn out the really heavy AoE like the mages can, unless you have something to fill in the gaps when your other abilities are on cooldown. So hypothetically, if your Explosive Trap, Volley, etc. is all on cooldown, and you get a lucky Ravager proc, it's a DPS bonus. And although it does not work the same way on, say, Light's Hope, where you can't really use Sappers or whatever during the Bladestorm, you can still pop that stuff between the Bladestorms, and it still proves really useful in a few places, like the Magmadar Corehound packs just before Magmadar, and also the Spider packs in Zul'Gurub. But aside from that, they're fantastic for running lobbies through low-level dungeons, and for 5-mans in general. Blackrock Depths, fantastic fun with Bladestorming. So that's where the whole Ravager spiel comes from. I've stuck with it ever since.
Just a succulent vanilla thing, dude, that you just did there, dude. Just picking up a 30-something, a level 30-something axe from SM and using it at 60 and using it effectively. It requires creativity, thinking outside the box, and man, just so cool. And now you develop this whole brand and reputation of it, man. So, right on.
The original melee weaving hunter at Resiah the Ravager.
I don't think I'm the original. I think Time Cop, or actually before Time Cop even. I'm sure people did it in vanilla, but in any case, you can weave with a Ravager, hope you get a Bladestorm proc, and then when your multi-shot's off CD, weave out for a ranged attack, and then go back in for the melee. Hey.
It's pretty good stuff, man. I mean, I've touched on with you, Cargos, melee weaving being a DPS increase, and then of course, you know, Watch Your 6. You've worked with Watch Your 6 before. He's pretty good at it. I mean, really, I think going into Classic, yeah, there are some things that a lot of hunters don't know about that are actually a DPS increase or a net gain.
I was thinking about that, yo. So, you know, melee leeway's in the game, right? But the boss isn't moving if he's stationary attacking someone. But what if you were to get him moving a little bit somehow? Could you work the leeway to your favor to melee weave a lot more effectively?
Yes, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about that. That'd be super interesting, man. I mean, people
But
get
it is
stopped-
kind of...
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
No, no,
interrupt.
no, man, I don't know much, but-
So actually there is something of a consideration with melee weaving and raids. Like if you're on a raid boss, I mean, aside from the issue of the hitbox, you know, maybe the dead zone is bigger than usual, but other than that, if you're wielding a two-handed weapon, you tend to have more attack power, and if you're wielding two one-handers, you tend to have more crit. And one-handers are usually better for raiding. But if you can weave raptor strikes in the middle, maybe a two-hander is better. I don't think it's actually decided upon yet which is better. Maybe you could weave with one-handers, and that's actually ideal for some reason. But anyway, I thought it was just worth bringing up. Usually, two-handers equal attack power, one-handers dual wielding equals crit.
Absolutely. That's
And
the best one.
if there's any hunters in the chat anywhere on Twitch, YouTube, wherever you're looking at, wherever you're viewing this, if you're not familiar with melee weaving, a real tongue-in-cheek explanation is you sit at about 9 yards from the boss, 8 yards from the boss, you get your auto shot, you get your regular combo going with your aim shot, make sure not to clip anything, multi-shot, and then in the time before the multi-shot and the auto shot cooldown is over, you run in, raptor strike, raptor strike, and then you kite back out to the 8 range, so you can shoot them in time.
Yeah, you can throw a sapper charge while you're in range too as well. For a little bit Yeah. All right. So class fantasy. Anything else, Alondris? Any class fantasy in a bad way, in a good way? Anything? Any last? If not, it's all good. We'll move on. Just class fantasy is a fun thing to talk about. So.
I would have said a lot of things, but you've already said most of them.
All right. All right. All right, so we'll move on to the next thing, and this is probably the thing that most of you in the chat right now are interested in. People in the Hunter Discord have been memeing about for weeks and weeks, and I could butcher this story, this narrative, but we're going to be talking about Hunter Bloomin' versus Hunter Doomin'. So, like I said before, if you go to the Hunter Discord, you're going to see the icon is like a shattered bow with a broken string. And there's a lot of changes, or not even changes. There's been a lot of bugs with Hunters in the beta in general. Stuff that made Hunters feel really like they put Hunters in a bad spot. You know, like a lot of stuff was broken with pets, right? Feigned Death wasn't even dropping combat for the longest time. There's a lot of stuff that was scuffed about Hunters in the beta. They've slowly made amends to a lot of this stuff, but there's still some things that are persisting that people in the Hunter community feel are, you know, like kind of bad. You know, stuff like scatter shot sharing radar with freezing trap that we were talking about before. People were confused whether there's going to be Rocktalar in phase 1 or phase 2, or the important, you know, how impactful certain things are going to be. There's this kind of hit suppression that people have been talking about. Anyway, long story short, Hunter community has been a little bit divided. Some people giving up on the Hunter class. I feel sort of bad because I feel like I kind of did to a certain extent. I did say I was going to go Warlock before any of this happened, in my defense. But a part of me wants to go Hunter because of all this stuff. And you have people who are kind of doomsayers, doom posters, and people who still believe the Hunter's in a good spot. So this next section, we're going to talk about the state of Hunters. How do you guys feel Hunters are positioned moving into Classic?
I've been a bloomer since the initial Doom posting, right? I never resorted to Doom posting. I've been in the Hunter Discord for a while, and you know, if any of you are from the Hunter Discord, you know they've got a section dedicated to Doom posting, saying that the Hunter class is scuffed, saying that the Hunter class is pretty much over. And as time has moved on, Blizzard has released these initial changes or these initial bug updates. You know, what's good with the reference client, what isn't. Some Hunters have kind of gone to the bloomy side. And some Hunters are still, you know, locked in their rooms, dude, just thinking it's the end of this fucking world. They're not ready for it. I mean, they think that the Hunter class is butchered pretty much because of the whole scatter trap DR thing. And I mean, there's tons of reasons why it isn't, and I'd love to get into this. This is probably my favorite topic.
Okay, excellent. How are you feeling about things, Alondris?
Since the initial Doom posting, things have certainly been changed for the better. Like when the initial Doom posting was going on around, I think Hunters had like 50 bugs, and Blizzard was not acknowledging any of them. But lately, most of them have been fixed, major one, minor ones, and there are only like what 5 bugs left, 3 major ones, which 2 are intended mechanics. So I think Hunter is in a much better position than it was before. But people are still gonna be doomers, mostly because of the memes, to be honest.
Because of the memes, okay. So it's kind of, the genesis of it was that it felt like Blizzard was neglecting the class and not addressing serious issues, right? Like, for me, that Feign Death one was just insane. The pets were kind of scuffed for a little while, too.
For the entirety of the beta and some of the stress tests, they literally had no blue posts about the bugs. They didn't address any of them. They didn't respond to it, so it felt like they were ignoring us while we were finding new bugs to complain about.
I see. So that's why we broke the string and stuff. It makes sense, you know, like, you know, when Blizzard's giving you lemons like that, you just meme, you know, you just start memeing. Okay. So do you know any of these bugs off the top of your head? Not to put you on the spot here. If not, it's all good. It's hard to just memorize what bugs are, but you
Yeah,
said 5.
calling your pet used to lag the entire area, which was pretty hilarious, to be honest. Sometimes your weapon used to look like your quiver, which was also pretty hilarious. Major bugs like being able to tame pets to level higher than you. Melee leeway, which is apparently not a bug. The DR share, which is apparently not a bug. Leashing mobs, pets being retarded. Right now there's also a bug about an auto shot delay, about 0.5 seconds. I have an entire list of like 50 bugs if you want. I can just
0.5 seconds on auto shot. That sounds terrible. That's what.
It is.
Jesus.
It's pretty quick.
0.5? That's the cast time on auto shot. 0.5 seconds.
Yeah, that's the charge up time.
Oh man.
Your Feign Death used to first not drop combat, then not do anything. Like, there are a lot of bugs. Let me just search them.
For a while too, like, the pet would definitely have a lot of these weird quirks. So like, you would be attacking a mob, you'd send the pet at another mob to start, you know, just moving to engage that one faster. And then as soon as you would kill the mob you were currently on, the pet would just stop and go back and do stuff like this. And I still think there's some stuff too, like if you have claw and bite going at the same time on autocast, it should prefer the leftmost skill, right, and move over in that order of operations,
exactly.
But it's just using claw every time, so you have to find workarounds, little nuanced things like that. So it makes a lot of sense why, you know, the Hunter Discord is how it is, and you guys have stayed strong through it, and it's looking up, you know, I'd say it's looking up. All right, Rosiah, man, Rosiah, what are your initial thoughts moving into Classic? You think Hunters? Yeah, how do you think about Hunters?
Well, to tell you the truth, I don't really pay too much attention to all the hubbub about stuff. I trust that things will get worked out on the way there, and whatever bugs do exist, you know, people are going to complain at the time, but you know what? It's a work in progress. We'll probably have it solved, and either way, we're hunters. All right, we adapt. There is no limitation that we cannot overcome through sheer will and memes. So
100% true.
So all those doomers posting about we're totally screwed, we can't do anything. I've just one thing to say: get over it, you goddamn noobs. Get the hell over it and play the goddamn.
Man, get good.
How can you play the game when calling a pet lags the entire area? Like, no one plays the game.
Well, you could disconnect all the enemy players.
That's true. I mean, I like what Rosiah said. You know, have you guys experienced this over the years and years and many expansions? Like, people so easily give up on their class, though. That I've done that before, you know, and I've gotten triggered by the balance of things and people. Yeah, oh, dude, exposed, man. Dude, sorry, we got thick on here. True, kind of. No. I don't know, man. Anyway, dude, moving on. When people jump ship for flavor of the month, I know something that's trending in the current meta, the PvP meta game or whatever. But I feel like Rosiah, you're the type of dude that just stays true to your class, stays true to your colors. And I kind of think that's important, dude. It kind of speaks to your character, too, man. Like, you kind of... These are the cards you're dealt. You kind of hang in there. You know one day you'll have your glory day back again, and there's no point to just keep jumping ship and changing strats and doing all that. I have mad respect for people that have mained classes for many, many years and still do it, I have to say.
Well, you know, glory days it could be tomorrow. It's up to whatever you decide to do. You make it a glory day as a hunter. That's
yeah. Okay, so we got everyone's initial thoughts on it. So we're on this doom and gloom post here, and we saw there's just some little talking points here. Armor values are potentially higher or lower. There's a little bit of a mixed opinion on this. If you guys know in the chat exactly, you know, what's going on with the armor values, people data mine that Ragnaros, for example, has like 3k armor and change, or 3700 or something, and that some bosses have lower armor. But along with you were saying, you might have seen some posts saying that some the armor values were cranked up. This could have an impact in some capacity. Scattershot sharing DR with freezing trap, which on private servers it did not. But you know, Blizzard at this point has confirmed that Scattershot is supposed to share a DR with freezing trap. 3% hit from the troll racial, and this +5 weapon skill that you get from the troll racial. Actually, you know what? You know, could you explain that post, Thick? You did a good job. You elegantly explained that before.
For sure.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of talk on the internet between what does 305 weapon skill actually give you going into something like Molten Core or Onyxia. So the way that I've interpreted the blue posts, the data mining, and what we know so far about vanilla, you're looking at a 1% hit suppression on every level 6. This covers up your first percentage of hit chance you acquire from gear and talents. From there, you also have the 305 weapon skill, with which some data mining values we've determined gives you about 2% hit. The second you get to 305 weapon skill, though, the disparity between Ragnaros's or Onyxia's defense skill is only 10, which cancels the 1% hit suppression, which gives you in tongue-in-cheek 3% hit for being a troll with a bow.
Kind of a nice little feels good thing. I was a little bit, you know, had a mixed opinion of this. People were saying that in Real Classic, the formulas weren't all transparent, and that this racial may not really move the needle much. You would maybe just move it by a fraction of a percent or something, but it seems like we've gotten some clarity on this, and that's pretty cool. The 3% hit from troll racial is nice, but at the same time, as we talked about in our field manual, you know, as soon as you start getting some gear, hunters are trying to get rid of hit. There's too much hit to go around to the point where you get rid of the hit score.
I see why it wants me to go here. I know exactly why.
As the dwarf gun specialization, simply because from the BWL onwards you're just trying to get crossbows, which even though they are crossbows, they don't benefit from the bow specialization.
Right, that's a very good point.
Yeah, a big deal.
Oh my.
Molten Core though, on like a week 1 rag, you may not have to get sure-footed. You may not have
Big
to
damage.
hit percentages, right? Once you mathing it out, that there's a you could get the bow from EPL or something, so you could get benefit from it, and you could go the typical 30-21 build instead of having to get the sure-footed.
For sure, yeah. If you were a troll, yes.
Yep.
If you don't want to go sure-footed, there is this two-handed sword, the Warmonger, which is the only item I think that gives 3%.
That's a 1% BOE.
1% BOE.
Yeah. If you get it, you don't have to go in survival and you can just pick it up.
Yeah.
But there is something else to be gained by having the specializations, and that's if it does indeed boost your hit, you can use that sort of weapon for, say, a nature resistance set or frost resistance set. Of course, that's very small, but if you like to optimize your sets,
yeah, I think the whole hit thing, right? So people are confused about, like, why would I ever go into the survival tree? Why would I ever get sure-footed? I'll never have to do that. This theory crafting that we're doing comes from a pretty biased perspective because we are attempting a very early Ragnaros. So 1%, 2%, and 3% hit is very important, right? So these are really builds for people who are really pushing the needle with like a week 2, week 1 rag, whatever the situation is.
Yeah, I'll show them the sure-footed here just to go down to it. It's this talent right here. I'll open it up. Sure-footed. If you can see that, it's a little bit small on the stream, but pretty much in the survival tree, there's a talent called sure-footed. It's going to give you 3% hit from it, right? So in order to get that 9% hit that you need, people will before you can have access to all that hit gear, they'll spec differently in order to get this sure-footed, right? So that's kind of what we're referring to if anyone is curious. So okay, my perspective on the Doom vs Gloom stuff. Not the biggest brain hunter guy, but you know, speaking specifically about the scattershot DR sharing with freezing trap. I don't know how you guys are feeling about this. Also in the chat, please comment in if you have a different opinion or if I'm missing something here. But I don't think this is the end of the world. And I say this because even in WoW, there are so many ways to control the enemy, right? I mean, yeah, scattershot is a very convenient, like, kind of go-to thing that you can reliably do. You can, scattershot, feign death, and drop a trap. As you guys know, traps are only droppable out. You can only drop a trap out of combat, but you can still go the spec where you can pick up intimidation and scattershot, so you can intimidate with your pet and then use that to drop a trap on top of it for the full DR of the trap. There's also instant magic dust, which is like, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, yeah, it's going to be rare, and how often are people going to have it? But you really could have it, man. And it's instant, and it's almost like a little rocket helm. It can just, like, reset the fight. You just sleep them for, like, 9 seconds or something with the magic dust instantly. So we have that. We have maybe a title charm if you can pick one up, and you're lucky enough to get one. You have Netomatic. You have, obviously, rocket helm. There are a bunch of ways to control people in Classic. And little combos that you can do to be able to get that trap off. So
why is my FPS so dog water? What is going on? Something is bogging it down. I gotta figure out what it is. What the fuck, man? I'll try that, but I highly doubt it's gonna work. It's the last time I do this shit. Something is preventing it from opening. Holy fuck, bro. GeForce Experience won't open. Open the run menu by pressing the Windows icon plus R button. Okay. Type in services dot messy. Look for NVIDIA GeForce Experience service. NVIDIA GeForce Experience service. Definitely not fucking here. Not there. Antivirus blocking NVIDIA software. Your antivirus software time and may falsely identify GeForce Experience as a dangerous program. To test this, disable your antivirus program and try to open it again. I don't fucking know, man. Your video card driver is updated. NVIDIA. How to fix GeForce Experience not loading.
Hello and welcome back to WePC. Now, GeForce Experience is the perfect accessory for your GeForce graphics card. It allows you to capture, share video, screenshot, and even live stream with minimal fuss. However, unfortunately, there have been growing concerns amongst GeForce Experience users over bugs that seem to crop up all too often. One particular bug that is causing a lot of stress is GeForce Experience simply not opening. But luckily, the fix for this problem is fairly straightforward. So with that in mind, let's waste no further time and dive straight into it. Now, we're going to be pretty cliche and suggest that the first thing you should do is turn it off and on again. Like many programs that run in the background of your PC, they can suddenly just stop working for a number of different reasons. One particular scenario sees a version of the program partially open, but it's neither open nor closed. So let's go ahead and fully close the program, and here's how to do it. Firstly, open up your task manager by hitting Ctrl, Alt and Delete and selecting the task manager from the available options. Locate and close any NVIDIA related program.
Well, that's not fucking working at all, so...
running in the background. You may have to click the More Details button at the bottom of the page. Once located, simply close them by pressing Delete on your keyboard or right-clicking and selecting End Task from the drop-down menu. Once all the processes have been ended, simply restart GeForce Experience and it should fire up. Our next recommendation is to disable your antivirus or even create a firewall exception. Whilst your antivirus can be essential in keeping harmful files out of your PC, it can also play havoc with certain applications. GeForce Experience is another application. Simply restart GeForce Experience and it should fire up. Our next recommendation is to disable your antivirus or even create a firewall exception. Whilst your antivirus can be essential in keeping harmful files out of your PC, it can also play havoc with certain applications. GeForce Experience is another application that can fall victim to your antivirus's brutal ways. We have a video on our channel if you want to know how to fully turn off your antivirus. If properly closing GeForce Experience and disabling your antivirus doesn't help, then it may be an internal drive problem that's stopping the application from starting. Outdated or even corrupt drivers have been known to cause all sorts of havoc with
It's not even showing it. Like, I'm so fucking confused, man. I know. Computer's freaking out, but I just want to see if this is gonna fucking work. It still doesn't work. How, bro? Oh my fucking word, man.
With your PC's performance. So if you're unlucky enough to experience this, then reinstalling them will surely solve your problems, and here is how to do it. Start by right-clicking on the Windows Start menu in the bottom left-hand corner of your desktop. From the drop-down menu, select Device Manager from the available options. Inside Device Manager, find Display Adapters and expand the available options. This should display your GPU. Simply right-click the GPU and select Uninstall from the drop-down menu. Follow the steps displayed by the Uninstall wizard until the drivers have been completely uninstalled. Once the drive is uninstalled, visit the NVIDIA driver support page and find the latest graphics drivers for your GPU via the manual driver search function. Once found, simply click the download button, and once you've downloaded the drivers, simply launch the installation progress by double-clicking it. Follow the wizard to install the driver, and once complete, simply restart your PC and launch GeForce Experience. And by now, one of those mentioned methods should have resolved any issues that you were experiencing with the GeForce Experience. However, if they haven't, there is one thing left for you to do, and that is a fresh install of the GeForce Experience. Reinstalling GeForce Experience is a great way of getting a fresh copy of the application on your computer, ridding it of any bugs or corrupted files. To do this, simply go to your programs inside your control panel and find the GeForce Experience and hit the uninstall button. So there you have it, our comprehensive rundown of the easiest fixes to get GeForce Experience up and running once more. Outdated or even corrupt drivers have been known to cause all sorts of havoc with your PC's performance. So if you're unlucky enough to experience this, then reinstalling them will surely solve your problems, and here is how to do it. Start by right-clicking on the Windows Start menu in the bottom left-hand corner of your desktop. From the drop-down menu, select Device Manager from the available options. Inside Device Manager, find Display Adapters and expand the available options. This should display your GPU. Simply right-click the GPU and select Uninstall from the drop-down menu. Follow the steps displayed by the Uninstall